I was muted, so community resource coordinator Halima and Officer Navarro couldn't hear us, I think. Hopefully you can hear me now, and we were just trying to hand over the floor to you.
Oh, well, yes, we're here. Thank you.
Can't hear you yet.
Okay.
Darn it. One sec. Thought I had this. Give me 1 second. Shoot.
I initially thought it was my computer. I was like, I can't hear anything, but I can hear you now.
We can hear you too.
You can
I don't
get
think
started.
they can hear
I'm trying
us.
to make you even louder.
We can hear you now. We can hear you.
Oh, you can hear us? Okay.
Oh, great.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and cover two major things that I saw in the Ocean Park area. And then Officer Navarro is gonna cover a couple things and we'll open it up for any questions. So the first part was the catalytic converter thefts. Now, these have been rampant regionally. They've increased throughout the year. So we tend, I think I've talked about this in the past, how we tend to kind of see it sort of ebb and flow. But this year we've just seen a continuous increase. In the OPA area, I don't normally see very many, since there's kind of like you're closer to Main Street, you have kind of busier areas, but this is probably the highest I've seen in a very long time in the area. So I saw 22 auto part thefts, and of the 22, 21 were catalytic converter thefts. One of them was like a license plate that was stolen, but pretty much all of them were catalytic converter thefts. And I looked on the map to see if there was any particular pattern. They were sort of scattered, but I did see that along 2nd and 6th Street, we did see sort of a higher rate of the catalytic converter thefts. So that's just something to keep in mind. And I know, again, because I have not seen it in this area as often, it's just something that I want to make sure that the community is aware about. That it's just happening everywhere in the city at this point. So we've been doing a couple of different operations, and knowing that we're now seeing it in this area, we're going to also have that focus on those streets in particular as well. But that's just something to think about. We normally have about 2 etch and catch events a year. And this year we've already had 2 just because of the uptick in this. But if you do have a high risk vehicle, like such as the Prius, we do recommend getting a shield or a cage for your vehicle, as that is a safer method of protecting yourself against catalytic converter thefts. And then, of course, if you have the ability to have a garage that you can park in, then that's always very useful. And more importantly, if you do hear any sounds of tools being used late at night or the early morning hours, something that sounds suspicious, make sure that you're calling it in, that you can see the direction of travel. If you see a license plate on the vehicle, the type of car that they're driving, without confronting the person, just from a safe distance, get as much information as you can for the police, as we're trying to be able to come down on these as much as we can. The other thing was a couple of months ago, I think this was maybe in February, we had these pickpocketing incidents that were happening at some of the bars on Main Street. And we did actually catch the individuals. It was 3 individuals that were arrested that were connected to these incidents, and they were found with multiple cell phones, credit cards that they had stolen, and several other items. So they were arrested. That's still ongoing. I don't believe that they've resolved their court case yet. I'm not really sure what the latest update is on that. But as I was looking at the numbers on here, I noticed that there were pocket picking on Main Street again. I don't believe that they're the same exact individuals, but sometimes we have different groups that kind of come into the city with a focus or a particular goal in mind. And this was happening in, I saw it at the Victorian, Circle Bar, and at Jameson's. There were 9 incidents, and they were all on different weekends. The ones that we saw, it wasn't February, it was St. Patrick's Day. So it was back in March. So those happened all on the same weekend. These have been kind of spread apart. And I think the last one was this past weekend. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. If you are frequenting the area, just making sure that you're holding onto your purses. I sometimes forget to zip up my purse, and what they're doing is exactly that. They're noticing the purses that are open and just sticking their hands in there and grabbing cell phones. So make sure that you're holding onto your purse, that you're closing it, keeping an eye on your valuables. Some of the victims did describe feeling sort of like a heavy kind of feeling on their purse, and it just happened in seconds. They're taking advantage of the fact that these bars are crowded. People are kind of letting their guards down. So it's just something that that would be unexpected. So do keep an eye out for that if you are in the area again. Even if you're not on Main Street, still something to consider, but just know that that is happening now. And if any of you have any information, please let us know so that we can make sure that that goes up to our detectives that are on that. So Edgar, you want to?
Yeah. So hi there. So first of all, looking forward to being in person next month. I know the chief's going to be there. We're going to be there. So it'll be a nice change. It'll be the old-fashioned meetings, and I am actually looking forward to that. Thank you for the people who attended our little class that we had last week. What was supposed to be like a 40-minute class, me and my partner got wrapped up in talking. We ended up making it 90 minutes. But I think we had a lot of information that we gave out, a lot of good phone numbers, a lot of good tips on how to get the best police services, how to get the fastest police services. And I know Halima is putting together kind of like a kind of cheat sheet, or kind of an image that has all the important phone numbers, all the tips, so that we can pass that out. I think a lot of people found that stuff to be helpful. So thanks again for all those who joined, and then we'll get that image out to everybody so that they can put it on their refrigerator, and in an event that you absolutely, when you need us, you have all the best information in front of you. This coming week, I take that back. The following week, May 17th at Virginia Park. I think I mentioned this before. We had a lot of families be defrauded on a crypto fraud scam, and it happened. And some of the families were asking for some type of information on fraud prevention. So we have a detective coming in. He's going to review all the most recent fraud scams, things that were going on specifically in the city in the last 6 months. We're going to talk about all the safeguard, all the tools to try to avoid any of that fraud. So we're having that at Virginia Park on May 17th, Wednesday night at 6 p.m. So of course, it's free to the community. So please come join us. If you have any questions specific, again, a detective will be there to answer those questions. The last thing I want to mention is a lot of us got trained to provide training, free training to the public as far as active threat, active shooter type of protocol. It's a class that we offer. We go out to businesses and we train employees and owners on what to do in the event that some type of active threat is happening at your business. And we're doing it citywide. Our calendar's full of classes that we're doing for all the different businesses. So any of the businesses on Main Street, schools, any community centers, anybody interested, we are absolutely looking forward to passing that education out. Again, it's information from the Texas State University, a really thorough curriculum, and it covers all the different issues of active threat, active shooters. So that's what we have going on for this month. And any questions, any concerns, let us know.
Thank you. Kathleen.
Yeah, Edgar, there was an incident in Ocean Park on Strand and 4th, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. It involved the little kids in the park. It's sort of scary. I want to give you positive feedback about it, which is why I'm bringing it up. But I think if you know which one I'm talking about, there were about 8 kids that were chased by a guy down our street, and it was really horrible because he had one of the little kids in a choking him, and the little kid was terrified, and he was insane, and he was going to beat up the little kid. I mean, they were little. They were like 11 or something. And my neighbor came around the corner and yelled at him, and he sort of stuff that, but the police came I mean, there were what, 8 cars or whatever, and then spent a lot of time with each of the little kids who were running, screaming back from the park. I guess he was saying that I don't know what they did. Did they taunt him? Did they take something from him, or was he just picking on him? But he was really menacing, and then each 2 policemen walked all the children back home down the street, which they needed. And you spent a long, long time with them. So, and there was a lot of positive feedback from the people.
Thank you. I don't know if there's anything to add to that, but good job.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad that we provided the right response. Just a little follow-up on that. And I'm not sure if you're connected with the parents of those kids. We also have a family specialist on our staff. They're part of our investigative bureau, and they're the people that could talk to those kids after the incident and see how the kids are doing. If they were affected, they could direct them to some more services within the city. So again, that name is it's Anna Hara, who works with us, and it's just an additional service for those kids or for kids that could be going through something. So just a thought, if anybody there is connected with those parents, that's something that we can also offer for those kids, just to see how they're doing 2 weeks afterwards, making sure they're okay.
Cool. Thank you, officer. Any other questions for Santa Monica Police? Yes, we have, what's your name?
My name is Bella.
We have Bella from Samuel High.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily a physical threat, but it is very dangerous. What I'm like, okay, so basically my friend, she was walking down Main Street. It was
21st and
21st and
in
Pico.
between 28th and like 18th.
And basically they saw painted swastikas on like the sidewalk.
Yeah, there were just swastikas drawn everywhere.
Yeah.
Up and down the street, on business buildings, on the Big Blue Bus signs, the Virginia Park signs.
Yeah.
Everything.
And there was a lot, and my friends they were alarmed by this because a lot of my friends are Jewish or partially Jewish, and so they were very scared, and so then they brought paint and covered them up, and then there were more the next day. And I feel like that's a concern to bring up, because if there's anti-Semitic behavior in Santa Monica, that affects a lot of people, and it could be very dangerous and lead to a very dangerous situation.
Absolutely. That's not anything that we tolerate here at Santa Monica Police Department. That's a hate crime. So it's beyond vandalism. Anybody can write on a wall if they want to write their name. That's a kind of a small grade misdemeanor crime. But a swastika or something of a hate crime like that, it rises up to a felony. So it's a lot more serious. We take a report on it. We treat it like a felony. So all I ask is, me and my partner, we'll check the area for the swastikas, and we'll find out if a report was filed. But if I can ask you, please call in to our police dispatch, give them the information. That way an officer can respond out there, take pictures, take the report. Ultimately, we'll get those covered up with our graffiti covering program. But most importantly, we want to target, especially if they're reappearing, we want to find out who's doing it and where the sentiment is coming from and how we can make it stop. Because yeah, there's no tolerance for that.
Thanks, officer. And that sort of wraps up one of the things together that I want to talk about is, if you missed the learning session that Aaron, thank you for coordinating, organized a couple weeks ago. We're going to put some more of the highlights from that and tips from that in future newsletters. And as Officer Navarro mentioned, Aaron's also spearheading putting together something physical, whether it's for fridges or whatever, to know like who to call and when to call, like when to call 311 versus 911 versus 211, which is the the homeless services versus the general number. So there, stay tuned in the newsletter for more on that. And hopefully at next month's OPA meeting, there'll be something physical you can take home around all of that. So thank you, everyone. Thanks, Officer Navarro, for coming. I also want to acknowledge, I want everyone to acknowledge Lima. Thank you for everything you're doing, and good luck and congrats on your wedding this weekend or next week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you both.
Thank
with
you.
that-
Good night.
Good night. With that, want to turn the floor over to Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District. We've got a few people here to give some updates on everything going on in the community around that. Let you all decide who goes first.
Can you talk a little about?
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Adam. First time. Yeah, we can. If we have Kevin Klaus also here in Zoom. Yeah. Yeah. All right. There you go. I let Kevin start the introduction.
You know, I'll let them do most of the talking because they're there. But, you know, really, my name is Kevin. I'm the Deputy Bond Program Manager for the construction work that's happening in Santa Monica. And, you know, we are here. We are, you know, moving in on site at Smashmere. And there's a couple things we want to engage with. There's a separate kind of engagement process with the school community. But here we're here to engage with the neighborhood and talk to you about some of the issues that you know, that are important to you guys, like security on the site, and just maybe what you should expect to see happen over the next few months. And rather than me tell you that here remotely, I'm gonna turn it over to Kay, and then he can kind of, you know, introduce the construction team that's there with him tonight.
Thank you, Kevin. So yeah, again, my name is Jake Adam. We're working with Carrie Upton, Kevin at the FIP office on 4th Street. These are wonderful contractor team that we selected for the Smashmere John Muir Elementary School Water Inclusion Project. The name is Block Construction. Nathan, he's a vice president of the company.
So it's great to be here today. My name is Nathan. I'm vice president of construction, and I also manage our office here in Southern California. Got our team, our project superintendent, the one you'll see every day on the site, Scott Burdell, and another young man, Dustin Gilbert, who is our engineer, that you'll see every day on the site. I know the school's been shut down for a long time, and we're here to make sure that things put back together and the way I think all of you want it to be. And I think I'll turn it over to Scott to talk about some of the details on schedule and that sort of thing.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully, can they see me here? I want to make sure they get my good side for me. So I'm Scott Burnell. I'm fortunate enough to be, Justin and I are fortunate enough to be involved in this project here with Dave and with the district. I have an apartment over there in Santa Monica. I'm between Wilshire and Montana, up that area. So love the area. Got a little too much sun on my face from this weekend riding my bike, but really love it. You guys have a wonderful little community here. Awesome community. It's really nice. Sometimes at night I'll just drive around just because I just like the community. It's great, close to the beach. It's pretty, what I call pretty laid back. So, but we understand we're visitors or guests in your neighborhood. So, and having that approach and attitude, we want to make sure that we're aware of concerns or issues that might come up, but also to make sure that we don't disrespect the neighborhood. We want to make sure that we're in here, watching, making sure that we're doing the right things, trying to do the right things, being good neighbors, essentially. You guys are great people. You got a great neighborhood. Last thing you want to do is create issues out there. Construction. So I've been in the construction industry about 40 years, so quite a while. And construction has its own challenges, as you guys all know. You'll have a little noise. There may be a little dust that kicks up. There may be, little things that come up. We try to, especially here at Block, we really try to make sure we maintain the surroundings. We put a fence up, try to make sure we get all the lights on. We've been working on getting the lights on over smash mirror, making sure it's lit up because I know there's been issues in the past. As I talked to a few of the neighbors. So we really want to make sure when we come into a project that we meet the community, meet the neighbors, see what maybe some of the concerns are, and then put a plan together so we can actually show them that we care about their community, we care about the project, and we're gonna keep it safe and clean. That's a big thing for us. Being a former Marine, I like things nice and clean. I like things to happen a certain way. And when you have a nice clean job site, it's safer, right? Safer, it's cleaner, it's better for everybody else. Construction is never pretty until it's done. Right? When it gets done, it's, oh, this is great. But in the meantime, when it's going, you might see ugly things out there. Right? You might see a dumpster, you might see a big connex, you might see stucco coming off of a wall, you might see, just ugly things. That can't be, nothing we can do about that. We just try to maintain as much as we can, especially because we want to be able to give you guys a good product back in the community that you guys can use for a long time to come. In doing so, we have to do certain phases of the job. So the first phase we need to do, we get in and we set up the project as you see some of us. You guys probably see what we've done with our fencing and whatnot. But also we have to do a kind of phasing of work, which becomes like a exploratory demo phase where we kind of open up some of the buildings, so you'll hear a little bit of noise. We have to open some buildings to see some of these areas that we have concerns with, that we want to make sure we're top of. Get a real good understanding of what's going on in the buildings that's been kind of sitting for so long, making sure that we're actually attacking everything that needs to be attacked and addressed. So that's the first thing you'll notice here in the next few weeks. You'll probably see a little bit more noise going on. Thankfully, there's not any big drill rigs coming out to do any type of shoring. Those are really loud, but nothing like that's going on. So you'll hear, a dump when a garbage truck comes in, dumps a dumpster. That'll be loud for a minute, all the way. Nothing you guys haven't already heard, I'm sure. Other things might be banging. I know we're in an area where it gets loud. We will respect the working hours of the city. We don't want to be working here. We really don't want to be working here on weekends, period. I don't want to be working on weekends. I want to go ride my bike at the beach. So we want to be very respectful of weekends, because we know that when weekends are kind of, if you're like me, that's your time, that's your free time, that's your family time, that's time you enjoy, that's time where things to be a little more quiet. You don't want to keep construction going on. So we're going to try to be very, very respectful of that and make sure that we can get any loud stuff done during the week, during regular working hours we're allowed to. So we want to be very mindful of that. I'm one guy that I really respect the weekends for people, and we want to make sure we pass that along, and that's part of being good neighbors as well. So like I say, you'll see a little bit of going on here in the next few weeks. Some of the big heavier stuff, real big heavier construction stuff probably won't be going on until probably around September, October. That's when you'll see kind of a more of a influx of workers, an influx of activity going on, where the main construction will start. At that point, it gets a lot more going on, so you're going to see a lot more happening. We like to try to contain the area as much as we can. We don't want things getting outside the area. Keep our fence up and try to keep it intact. And so that's when really you'll see a little bit more noise. Again, we'll respect the same thing on the weekends and work through the project. But the main thing that we want you guys to know is that we know this is your community. We are guests here. We want to respect that, number one. And we want to make sure that we keep things safe around here too. And we have protocols we put in place to keep our people and also the people around us safe in the community. So that's number one for us. Just want to make sure you guys know who we are, what we're going to be doing out here. And we want to make sure we have a nice, beautiful building that we can all feel proud of. And we want to make sure that we're trying to do the right things to achieve that. So that's kind of a little bit of a nutshell of what we've got going on, kind of a little introduction. I don't want to get into actually little tiny details because I would just kind of bore you, and I'm kind of a boring guy anyway. But basically, just want to give you a heads up. Hey, next few weeks, a little bit of noise, and then probably September-ish, right there, more of an influx of noise. And when I say noise, like I say, it's big truck coming in. There's pounding going on. We're pulling off some stucco. There's a little bit of roofing going on. There's things like that. Nothing where you have big, heavy pieces of equipment coming here. There may be at times maybe for a couple of days here and there, we may bring a crane in for a minute to pull some stairs off or something, and then that's gone the next day. There'll be little things like that. That from time to time we'll have some little louder noises. What we like to do is Justin here will, a lot of times he'll send out a report to Kay or Kevin and say, hey, heads up, next month, got a couple of days where we got kind of a different activity going than normal. Got a crane coming in. We're gonna have to kind of, nice thing about the site where we're at now, we don't have to worry set anything outside the street. We're not parking in the street. We can use the school parking lot, so we're not impacting the neighborhood that way. Trying to be very respectful of that. But if we have a large activity that's coming up, that's something that needs to be aware of, then Justin will reach out to Kay and Kevin and say, hey, guys, heads up. Hey, here's what's coming up. If you guys want to be able to notify the community. So we want to be team players here. We want to work with you guys. And that's just a little bit of a nutshell of what's going on. So if you guys had any questions, as long as they're easy, you can address them to me. If they're hard questions, you can address them to Dave. So, but
I am the old guy.
he is the old guy. That's right. So, yes.
Place a number that can, like one central number to call or text if people do have any issues that they see. If you guys directly secretary kind of go and pay for this.
Yeah, so to that point, so twofold. I'll take this question, because I'm sure David probably already thinking of it. Twofold, so yeah, so what I've done already is I met one of your neighbors, Mary, across the street from, she's on 6th Street there. Super nice lady. I met her.
Always knows when there's someone breaking into the school.
What's that?
She's the one that knows when there's someone breaking into the school.
Yeah.
That's
And
the right
so-
person.
Yeah, so I spent a little time with her to get to know her a little bit more, and she gave me a little bit of a rundown of kind of what's been going on the last little while and kind of things to be aware of. She's the one that kind of first caught my attention, some of the lighting being out. So, and working with her, some of the comments she's had, we've been able to jump up and solve some of the issues from a security standpoint, but also some of her concern. So I gave her my number. I usually don't do that. But because, not that I don't like to talk to people and address situations, because it's a real thing. If you guys have a concern, we want to know about it.
So what is the process? So sorry to cut you off, it's just we're running long. What is the process for reporting issues and questions?
So I don't know if you have something else in place for that or do it.
And if you don't have that yet, let's coordinate and follow up.
But you go to them first.
And what if there's a pressing issue? We assume you're not 24/7.
We will,
Let's figure out a plan for
We'll get
that.
something.
Great.
Okay.
Any other
I think I'm
questions?
done talking. Let's get that question.
I just heard of one company, because I spoke to Mary also in the issues. Also the concern for people living right there, we extend our newsletters to a lot of people. But right around that area, a lot of people don't know what's happening. They may not be on the mailing list. So if you're gonna bring in cranes or something, maybe 50 flyers around the 2 blocks that are concerns, it's a quick, easy fix.
Okay, good point. Yeah, good. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Any other question?
I was just gonna ask, how long are you expecting the project to last? What are the hours that are allowed? The noise.
So,
I could,
okay.
so the project is scheduled to be completed by end of 24. As Scott mentioned, the working hours from Monday to Friday, 7 to 4-ish. Except for if something must happen during the weekend, when it's a weekend, just Saturday. And as he said, no loud work, just, if you have to be caught up with some work, just gonna work on Saturday.
So the city does allow us their hours. We try to be, on Saturdays, they let us work as well. We try not to even do that. We try to just not work, period. There's something.
So
on the
Scott,
inside of the
though,
building.
we have the city approved working hours. I think it's 7 to 6 during the week, and it's 8 to 5 on Saturday. So we will work within those hours.
That's LA City.
Yeah, Santa
Adam,
Monica,
when you say it's different.
I assume you'll know the rules and you'll follow them. I don't.
Yeah,
think
We will work within the city's
8
construction hours.
8 o'clock and 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
We'll follow that.
You're
We
right,
try
it's
to-
9 o'clock. You're right, it's 9 o'clock.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, we will follow the Santa Monica.
Yeah, so we want to be respectful and much of that. Obviously, we don't want to be creating noise on weekends. So that's what we're gonna
Thank you.
try our hardest.
thank you for coming out today. We'll follow up and make sure that more information gets disseminated on communications if people have questions, and please don't hesitate to reach out to OPA to disseminate more information as well. I think I speak for everyone. We're just excited to see that the work's going to be starting, and we are going to have our neighborhood school back.
I will follow up with the email send out, the email address, so I can share it with you.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight. Final guest on the agenda. I don't see Carla or Justin. Oh, there you are. Sorry. Hidden behind the tree. Yep, no worries. I think we all know Carla, who runs Main Street Farmers Market. Justin is part of the team with Cultivate LA and
Values Co.
What?
Values Co.
Thank you, Values Co. Who have been launching the rewards program and the gamifications, and I'll hand it over to Justin to talk a little bit more about all things Farmers Market and Values Co.
Thank you so much for having me. I've never spoken at a local city type of event before, so I appreciate you guys welcoming me. Hopefully I do okay. I grew up not too far from here, so making an impact close to home is super important to me. I grew up like by Pico on Motor, Beverly Wood area. So yeah, pleasure to be here. Yeah, I've got some notes, and I'm gonna just give you guys the rundown of what we're doing, and we're pretty excited about it. Hope you guys are too. Pretty much so I'm at Values Co. I'm a founding partner. We're a technology platform that's really helping to enable rewards-driven impact experiences. So our whole goal is to get people to take action around things that matter and get rewarded for doing so. So we do this with corporations, nonprofits, have worked with influencers and content creators as well. And we partnered with the folks over at Cultivate LA. It's a food security and sustainability initiative that's really all around collaboration, building community, public-private partnerships. They've worked with everyone from UCLA to Sweet Green, LA Mission, a lot of partners. I think last year was their inaugural year, and they had over 50 coalition partners. So we partnered with them, and were able to secure a grant for them for $30,000 from one of our partners to do their spring activation. And then we got introduced to Carla through some mutual contacts, and have been honored to partner with Main Street Farmers Market. We've got 2 markets that we've done so far. Started to introduce some different kind of reward incentives, like a dinner for 10 at Plant Food and Wine on Abbot-Kinney, tickets to go see LA Football Club, gift cards to Sweet Green, and so forth. And excited to share some of the kind of outcomes so far. And maybe I'll do that first, and then get more into like what we're hoping to accomplish with this activation, why it matters, and what our long-term goals are with it, and can kind of go from there. But I'll get right into kind of how things have gone so far. So we had kind of an approximate attendance count from the first week, which was about 1,000 people, which is definitely more than usual. There was some additional programming and promotion that was done around the finale of Earth Month, especially given a desire to connect people around Earth Day and Earth Month, thinking around how we could support local vendors, more sustainable, regenerative farms, food and produce and vegetables, and so forth. And there was some music programming that day, which definitely probably helped bring more young people out. So there was definitely an increase in 14 to 25 year kind of age range than usual. And vendor sales were actually up by at least 10%. We're working on, we can share more figures perhaps via email, but we got confirmation that sales overall were up by over 10%. A specific vendor had actually a 25% increase, which was their best market of the year. And every vendor had they did not at the beginning, they have their own personal QR codes that will track kind of information that people can scan and interact, and kind of, like you were saying, gamify it. So you're able to interact with, for example, if you spend over $25 at the market, you show proof of that transaction, you get some points or something like that. We've also had a scavenger hunt where if you find certain things in the market, post on social media, you get points, things like that. Yeah, so that's, and then the other thing is we have thought it was very important to integrate some of the public programs like CalFresh into what we're doing. So we're definitely pushing CalFresh. We haven't had specific results yet that have shown an increase, but what we hope to do is that by getting more people out to the market and having more engagement, that more people will find out about this CalFresh program, which is a $20 match program. So if you have CalFresh, the market will match you every week $20. And usually, as we all know about these things, most people have no idea that these programs exist, quite frankly. So getting people out and spreading word in the community is something that we think, you know, by bringing this kind of fabric together, that there is really an opportunity, even if it's incremental, that if we're doing better, we're doing better, and that's good. So we want to be doing better. So in addition to that, we've got over 10,000 unique views so far on Instagram, which probably is different than how the market is usually promoted. We've partnered with a green and eco lifestyle company, media company, that's helped us really significantly there. So far we've got, as of yesterday, 104 completed actions that were taken, which we think is, it's not, you know, up here, but we're just getting this started. There's also a barrier to entry for people to like really understand, what is this program? How does it work? Why should I do this? So we're making some improvements, thinking around, you know, if you see QR codes and you have to ask someone, or there's no one to help you tell you what's going on, we want it to be really intuitive. So even sometimes you can like see what the rewards are. Some people are going to be more likely to interact with things when they know kind of what's in it for them as well. And with our platform, Values Co, we find that too. Like we have driven climate action campaigns, different, all types of different causes. And, you know, what we pretty much find is that the more forward we are with the incentives, the more likely it is for broader participation, because not everyone's going to like feel that in here. Some people are like, oh, cool, I get to do something good and I get something for it. Like, I'm in, hell yeah. So that is that. I mean, I would like to share a little bit more around Cultivate's mission. And really, I mean, we've helped to support this activation from a tech and implementation standpoint, as well as on the strategy, but they really came to us with this idea to further the program that they already have in place, and thought we would be a great partner. So just want to share a little bit of information. There are 1 million Angelinos that are experiencing food security right now, which is a lot. I know the population of LA is about 4 million. LA County, I think, is around 10 or 11 million. So it's a lot of people, and it's not always seen. So I think, you know, we are hoping to, especially with the CalFresh program, help make an impact in that way. More broadly as well, it's a big kind of challenge, but if there's not enough demand for local farmers that are, especially regenerative farmers, which oftentimes, you know, there's more costs that are associated for regenerative and organic farming. So if farmers are not able to, if their demand is not met and they have to go through grocery stores, they make less money. So if they can get direct to consumer, no intermediaries, we can help farmers a lot, and we can get more organic food to people. And we can also help push the prices down of these products so they're more accessible to more people, which is a problem, as we all know, around not everyone can afford to buy organic. So that's a collective educational kind of issue. And if we can spread information about that, celebrate it, celebrate the farmers, celebrate people for making decisions that are good for the environment and good for the body, and, you know, body-mind connection too, then that's what we would love to do. And we're already moving in that direction. So yeah, our goal really with the local activation has been to help drive, to increase organic and regenerative farmer revenues by 20% in this first pilot. So, I mean, given that we were already over 10% in a couple of weeks, it's definitely not bad. And with, you know, more education and support, we think we can get definitely close, or even get there. The other thing we really were hoping to accomplish is to create a blueprint for this model that could potentially be scaled throughout the city and potentially beyond that. Carla also, we had a chat today. She wanted me to stress that, like, and we believe so too, but this was kind of a good reminder from her that, like, the importance of community and getting people to come out and be together in public spaces, have good food, buy fresh food, enjoy music, be together. I also noticed this week, in the past week, that the U.S. Surgeon General put out a warning around mental health. Like, times are tough right now in the economy. So like, if we can help have people have a good time for free, and like, that's awesome. There's also been programming beyond music programming. There's some kids programming that Carla's really been spearheading around education and play, mindfulness, different things like that. She's also put a program in place where people bike to the market. They can kind of come up to the booth and they get an extra $1 off their market spend. And then yeah, I mean, that's a lot of it. I guess a couple more. I mean, I guess I'll pause and see if anyone has questions. I mean, don't want to come here to like speak to people. Would rather, yeah, love to hear.
Yes, it's great to meet you. I volunteered for years at various farmers markets. I go to a lot of times there Sunday. It was wonderful. It was like I ran into a couple. I said, wow, this is like the old days. It was just so gratifying to see all the kids out there. It was the most crowded that I've seen it since before COVID. So congratulations. And I want to find out what your last name is. Can you give us the last name?
Yeah, my last name is Markell, Markell. And if anyone has feedback or ideas, my email is very easy, or come up to me. My email is just justin@values.co. And that our platform is just values.co. And you're welcome to check it out and see, and would love your guys' feedback on the kind of user experience of it. And really, I mean, I guess from our side, like, just want feedback from the community, obviously support as well. We think that like, it's not about who does these things, it's more around how we get things done. So if we have something that is actually working, like, we want to try to create more public good. In order to do that, it's obviously challenging for a new program from an education and like media marketing perspective. So word of mouth, any kind of local ways that we can promote this. We also are going to be, we haven't really done this yet because we wanted to start this way, but we are going to be looking to engage more private sector partnerships to get additional funding to help drive this. But we're very open-minded to combining both public and private. And we've also been thinking a lot around like how much it would actually cost to run something like this in other markets. And like, because it was higher lift to get things off the ground and to get people to know about it, like rewards and staffing and marketing, all this stuff, like we've been thinking a lot about like, how can we do this really lean? And Carla's helped a lot to be thinking about that. And yeah, so we're, it's, if you guys are able to firsthand check it out, would love your feedback. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming tonight. We'll share your contact info in the newsletter as well, so everyone that gets that. Appreciate that. Any feedback or questions as well. So thank you for making time.
Thank you so much.
And for what you're doing. All right, and that concludes the guest portion of the night. Next month, I'm hoping to just have Santa Monica Police Department as our only guest, so that there's a little bit more time for board business. Chief Batista, as Officer Navarro mentioned, will be here in person talking about all the things Santa Monica Police Department and answering questions. So keep that in mind for I believe it's June 12th. Yeah, Monday, June 12th. Kicking off board matters. Start with executive updates. Patty, Chris is swallowing weird. Chris or Bobby, anybody have, Christina, anyone have anything sort of overarching from the exec teams to share?
Oh, I
about?
Yeah, with our neighborhood grant, I have to reconcile it in the middle of June, so it should be completed before our next meeting. But if you have anything that you have bought and should be covered by OPA, please send me an invoice for it. And if it is, I will gladly compensate you.
And that's a note for, I believe, Robbie and Aaron on what you're looking at doing with SMPD. We may have budget for that if they're not covering it. So Cool.
And I have to have it before the first week in June. Okay,
Noted.
okay.
Cool. Moving into communications. Don't have anything meaningful from the newsletter to report. Numbers continue to go up. Picking up probably 5 to 10 new readers a month, a week, and trying to get better connected with the shores and some of the larger buildings over there to get better connected across the community, and talking with those HOA boards and apartment boards about that. Robbie, anything to talk about on?
Just that we're running campaigns to try to get new members, increase our signups, up to like a ton of impressions at this point, and we need to kind of make sure we're getting the version that we want. So hopefully more people showing up at these meetings and getting the awesome weekend.
Cool. Judy, anything to talk about with OPA Connects?
Will just walked out.
No, he's there.
Oh, is there?
He's hiding behind the tree.
I can't see you behind the tree.
Really not. We just talked about it real quick. It's the same number. And, it's not what it's saying. And I don't think we.
Okay, good
Not that
update.
we're gonna do that, but if you guys are, as long as the 14 days come, you know, with the mayor and phone mayor and goes and, I don't. So it is a good service.
It's a good place to learn what's going on in the city because our mayor, Lee, tells us not only what happened the night before, if there was a meeting, but also what's coming up. And that's always really useful if you're thinking about, well, where's Santa Monica going? What's coming next?
It's just anything, I don't know, we're not close now. Pitch it as, I thought we were about this, so we get a fresh recap the morning after it comes in. I don't think pitch all that. And everybody's busy and, I don't know.
For the people who actually go every week, it feels like we're sitting with friends.
Yeah.
And we welcome other friends to join in.
It's a weird thing, that's hard to explain. That's it.
Cool. Thank you. Shifting into member engagement events, etc. Chris, Robbie, anything to talk about? I know we've got Monopoly coming up. That's more Main Street, but anything to share?
I would like to ask somebody from the board to assist me with putting together with all of the committees an event, happy hour type thing, kind of so people can come and learn about the different committees, and hopefully we can get some more members for everyone to jump on. But I would hope that I can get one person to help me organize that so we can do it sooner rather than
And it doesn't have to be a board member.
doesn't have to be a board member, but I figured I'd try with them first. But
Please follow up with Chris on that. I'll nag some of you about that as well. I think it'd be a good idea to try and at least have a monthly happy hour, just to hang out. Anything else to add on that front? Cool. Jeff, anything to talk about with 4th of July yet? We're less than 2 months out.
It's getting close, everybody. So we're looking for volunteers. Still working on our website, updating a few things, but have to sign up for volunteers really soon. So you want to be part of it? Volunteer. We need a lot of volunteers, and hope we should have their own volunteers to decorate the truck and get a van for us.
Would it be possible to get volunteer hours, like if I want?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we can do that.
Spread the word.
Yeah, not to put you on the spot, but we'd love to figure out how to get the word out better at Samuel High for opportunities for volunteer hours.
Well, I think we should act with counselors because we get a newsletter every week.
Well, like my parents and I, like parents and students get a newsletter every week of different volunteer opportunities. and I have a lot of things on there, so I think somehow connected with like.
So from each house, like the advisor for each house?
Yeah, they said on it.
Okay.
So,
If I could hit you or your mom up to forward that to board at OPA, that would be awesome. We'd love to take a look at it and see how we can get included.
Do you get volunteer hours, in July, after school is out?
well, I could collect volunteer hours because I would need them if I wanted to join like the California Scholarship Federation or something like that. Like,
Okay,
So summer volunteering counts.
yeah,
that's fine.
I'm not
Good.
100% sure, but I think so.
You said it, so it's now
Volunteering
in
is
stone.
Used to be a school administrator, so actually summertime, but that was, this is a different.
A couple minutes ago. I said that was a couple
Still
minutes
count
ago.
for your college application too.
Yeah, things don't change that.
Thank you all. Cool. It's a good sort of segue over to Main Street stuff. Robbie, you want to talk about Mainopoly, sharing an open Main Street, etc.?
Yeah, so pick up a flyer. Monopoly is coming over the Memorial Day weekend. A lot of work has gone into that. And the Main Street Business Association's pumped about that. Anything else to add there?
Don't think so. They probably do. OPA is not putting that on. We're just, we'll be attending and eating and drinking and supporting.
Volunteering for that.
And the other update is with Open Main Street. Over the past month, there was, shortly after this meeting last month, we had a meeting with some of the Main Street Business Association folks, and we had not necessarily gotten the support from I should back up. All right, so anyway, the city had been working on an ordinance to kind of streamline open Main Street approval and any kind of other open street shutdown that would be like a similar event. And so we kind of put like a meeting together, and when we put our heads together, we realized that there was some intervention that needed to be made to make sure that this was in our best interests. And so, specifically want to call out like the people that helped make that happen. Judy was key and gave us a meeting with David White and Sean and Hunter and the police chief. Anyways, to essentially get us a preview and get some input into what that ordinance was going to be before it went to the city council. The city council then also got some insight from Judy at a gardening event that it was going to be on the agenda, and what kind of other additions to that ordinance could help. And anyway, so it was approved. There's going to be 4 open street events in Santa Monica, and at this point we have 3 of them that we've claimed. It's August 12th. I was going to have a date. There's August, September, and October. It's right now weekend events. It's looking at the moment that there might be some of those that are just a Saturday of events, and then a Sunday street closure to enjoy like a pedestrian Main Street. But that is still up for discussion, and we're helping to kind of like, I don't know, the events are fun, so hopefully we can get a few more of those. Anything to say from any of the group that was involved, or yeah, go for it.
I want to say that it happened that there were 5 council members at Jerry Rubin's tree planting for his wife's death memorial, and David White was there. And so David said he had met with us, so he knew kind of what we wanted. And he said, it's an ordinance that's going to take, it's an urgency ordinance, and it's going to take 5 votes. What he didn't mention was there was going to be 1 absence. So it was 5 out of 6 council members had to vote for it. And so he gave me that information early enough in the event that I was able to go around and talk to each council member. But what I want to say is that everybody can learn to do that. It's not just because it's me, you know.
Oh, I sense.
No.
Really is.
It was, and it was unanimous, so it really worked, but it's important when you're at an event and you see council members or the city manager or the police chief, go up and say, I'm from OPA. I really appreciate what you're doing, or, you know, whatever you want to say to them, but get known is really important.
They don't know what matters to us unless they hear it. So please, if you ever have the opportunity, chew their ear for a minute about those. And the only thing I have to correct you on is it wasn't unanimous. Phil Brock voted against it. No comment. Robbie, I think you had a motion regarding the support of the events.
Yeah, so one of the stipulations in the ordinance that was passed was that at one point it was you have to go get 51% of the businesses on the street that are impacted to give approval to be able to do this. But one way that we can support making this happen is if the OPA, in partnership with the Main Street Business Association, supports this. They can essentially like opt out of that step. So yeah, what I'd like to propose is the support, and I have the 3 weekends here now. It's August 12th, September 9th, and October.
I move.
I second.
Yeah, to support the closure of Main Street for open Main Street events those 3 weekends. And so, yeah.
Before we vote, any questions or concerns on it?
What was the October date?
The 21st.
Cool. We have a motion and a second. So can it be by act? Yeah, I think we can do it by acclamation. All in favor? Any opposition? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Board members.
Yeah. It's confusing. You can raise your hand, but it won't matter. It's to you. Right. No.
Yeah.
But if you would like to run to be on the OPA board, 2 years, right?
Cool.
So almost.
Anything else anything else as it relates to Main Street? Cool.
No, just, I mean, I don't know. No, I didn't say, obviously a lot of work has been done to get this across finish line on OPA or from the OPA board, especially Sean. So I think that should just be acknowledged that we're here, and hopefully this is stepping stones to keep, expanding the scope of these things. Because we got such good feedback in the, all of the surveys and all that stuff that Sean conducted and the team. So
thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. Moving on to arts, Chris.
Yes, so hopefully everyone was able to read the letter that Nick shared the other day. So Arts Committee, we've been talking to Richard quite a bit about his POP Memorial Project. He's already received the 1 letter from the Parks Commission, and now we would like to also submit a letter in support to City Council. Again, we sent that letter out, I think, on Friday last week. So hopefully you got to read it, and we would like to take a vote on it, to be able to send that.
Could I ask you a question?
Yes,
I noticed that it was almost identical to the first letter. Was that done on purpose?
yes.
Okay. Just, usually letters differ a little. Okay.
And Richard, I know you're on the Zoom. Anything you want to add? I see you waving.
Yeah, no, I think it was a great letter. And I think, that it says pretty much the same thing. I think is perfectly fine. And I just appreciate OPA's endorsement of this project.
City, are we sending it to city council?
City council.
Okay, thank you.
So Chris brought up a motion there to send the drafted letter. Is there someone seconding it? Patty seconds. Board members, all in favor, raise your hand. Any opposition? Passes unanimously. Thank you for your efforts, Richard. Anything else for committee to talk about?
We'll have an update next month. We had a meeting, lunch a week ago. So we're going to be happy to share some more info from that.
Cool. Judy, anything to share? Oh,
we have our
not done yet.
Sorry, we have our monthly meeting on Thursday.
This Thursday.
Just because it's this week already. So we meet over at Ocean, what's it called now? Just be raised. Tavern on Main.
Tavern on Main.
Tavern on Main, 6 o'clock on Thursday. Me and Nick would love some visitors. If anyone wants to stop in.
Cool. Judy, anything to talk about from Diversity Committee?
Ian and I have been talking. There's not a lot of committee, but we are very interested in knowing if there are others who want to make sure that we have more diversity in OPA. And that includes ethnic diversity, LGBTQ plus diversity, and disabilities diversity, and any other kind of diversity that you can think of. We're trying to.
Younger people is fine.
Yes, age, and we have some.
Yeah.
So, we're really anxious to try and include more people, but we need help because you all know people. So if there are people that we should be reaching out to in Ocean Park to get them more involved, let me know or let Ian know, and we'll try to follow up on that. I have one other issue.
Before you get to that, what I want to respond to that, and also in response to what you were saying, Chris, is what we should probably start doing is using the newsletter in a more directed fashion as a sort of call to action and ask any of the committee chairs to say, hey, give us a few sentences, maybe even once a month, and a call to action to get people to start joining any of your meetings. So I'll take the follow-up to nag you all about that.
One other diversity that we don't really think of as a diversity is there are a whole bunch of new babies in Ocean Park. Either they're all over or they all walk on my street. But all day long, I see strollers and babies being carried. And how do we get people who are new parents to not only be a part of OPA, but to know each other and become support systems for each other? And I want to do that. I'm really into early childhood stuff. And
Suggestion.
yes.
Well, we don't have the library right now, but the library, that is huge. But
Yes.
also the parks, meet them where they're at, right?
Also, there was a very large crowd of mothers and children at Narwhal today,
Oh, really?
having coffee out on front of there. I think there was at least a dozen.
Great.
So
So I'm like the weirdo that goes to the park and I introduce myself and I'm like, hi, I'm Christina. Have you heard about OPA? Because I'm trying to get
Yeah, that's
the
great.
preschooler families to come and talk to me about like John
Right.
Muir and Smash.
Yeah.
You could have little picnic blankets like at the parks, and like you could have like those little like toy blocks or something, and then like you'd be like, come on, parents, or something, and then like you've got them engaged, well, the kids are engaged, and then the parents have nothing to do. Then they're like, what do I do? Oh, I'll talk to these people who are here about OPA, and then you spread the word.
Exactly.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
So first of all, I just wanted to, my name's Pat, this is my first time at a meeting. But I felt very inspired to bring my hand now because I have a 2-year-old as well as a 16-year-old that has been, I've been enjoying being back here with her. But anyway, I think my first kind of contact was the Open Street event. I'm a big cyclist person and open streets kind of person, so I was definitely there, but I think lots of people come to that, and I think it's so beautiful and wonderful. And I'm so excited that you got success in that, because I remember I asked about it on another occasion. You guys were working on it, so I'm thrilled. But I have my 2-year-old, and I'm exactly that. I'm new to the neighborhood. Actually, his name's Tristan. He was here earlier. I saw him. So he was actually born in Ocean Park neighborhood because I have home birth. So you guys,
Fabulous.
He's really a member of the community. Yeah, I just think I just noticed that maybe this neighborhood is a little bit, tends to be older, because when I moved in from Sunset Park neighborhood, not that far, I noticed, I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's saying they've been here 30, 40, 50 years. Like, it really stood out. But I appreciate that because everyone is like, we're very established kind of feeling instead of, it's nothing wrong, but not like the working people that are coming and going. And so that adds to what I love about Santa Monica, which is like this weird bubble in LA where you feel like you're in the past. Like very old-fashioned at the same time. But anyways, that's all I'm saying is I feel welcome. And I met you at the Open Streets. And even though I don't have a lot of time because I have a small child, but I get the newsletters every time and I appreciate them. And they're super interesting. And I always go to all the events that you guys mentioned, like, oh, things to do. Like I always go to all those things because of the newsletter.
are you a member? I have my membership box right.
And if you need help with that, there are people who will help.
Yes, so just most of appreciation, and you did reach me, and there are tons of other people watching by this photo. That's totally true. So you're really smart to notice that. Like, yeah.
Great. Well, I think that people who are having their first child, think, oh, well, when it's time for childcare or, preschool, I just have to call up one of them and go. And it isn't true. It's really hard to get into the programs that you might want to get into. And so it's important for people to share the information earlier than they think they need it. That's kind of like, you need to learn this because someday you're going to need.
And then one note, sorry about the teenagers, you should totally harness, they harness all of that energy. I mean, there's so much energy. And one thing that I've seen about teenagers is that unlike how they're presented in movies and TV, there's actually a lot of really nice teenagers. And they are very volunteer or meaningful projects. So
fabulous.
Thank you. If you could follow up and forward some of the Samuel High stuff, we'd love to figure out how to get a better connection on that info.
And I want to connect with you on one thing, and that is that in 1977, a baby was born in my house. So, and he still comes in. No, it wasn't Zach. But he comes and looks at the tree where his placenta was buried occasionally. Yeah. So
Well,
unusual, but important.
one thing along all those lines, I'm just brainstorming here, like how we could better get places like the pump station and the growing place to be spreading the word.
Yes.
And I hope Patty doesn't kick me for suggesting this or even thinking about it. I'm wondering if there's a way to do like, hey, first year open membership free for new parents. But it's $0 if we don't get them. And I'm just trying to think about ways.
I'm willing
pull
to
in.
underwrite.
Babysitting.
Anybody have any thoughts on other ways to get
2 cups of coffee.
new names?
I know.
Yeah, so let's think about that for next meeting, like. They're not gonna join something they're not gonna give $20 to something they don't know about, so get them introduced for free and.
Yeah, for sure, like, when it comes to open Main Street, we know how successful those can be in attracting attention to.
Yeah, you were great
So
at
like,
that.
we should be laser focused when we get to that, because we get so many eyeballs on that event, on how we need to get people in the moment, right? Like,
Yeah.
just like, need a hook to grab some people.
Yeah.
Right away. So when we have till September.
You got a computer coming.
August.
August?
You have a computer coming?
Yeah, I hope so.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It has not been ordered yet. Different discussion.
But to your point, the last
Yeah.
Main Streets, I think we added triple digits to our mailing list at each event. So, yeah,
And we just hear stories like this.
Yep.
For that, for people.
agreed.
Right.
Cool.
And I want to say Christina is the best person to involve people who are walking by.
Apparently, I'm really good at the wheel.
She's really good at that. Yes. I was a principal too.
Yes.
Cool. I was gonna make another time joke, but I.
Don't, just don't. One is good enough. The second one, you might get picked.
Yes. Moving on to renters and homeless, Robbie, Nick's not here, anything to, Aaron and Robbie, anything to talk about there?
Okay. Yeah, the next meeting is at Pacific Landing, which is the new affordable housing development on Lincoln.
Lincoln, yeah.
On Pacific and Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that sounds great. Yep.
So if anyone wants an excuse to go check it out,
In
go to the
2
next meeting.
Mondays. yeah,
Cool.
21.
What's the date?
What's the
Is it the
Today's the 8th, it's the 20th.
It's a great building.
22nd?
22nd? So you can check out that task force and check out that building.
How's that for time? Is that good?
Great.
All right.
Christina, anything on education task force?
Kind of a yes and a no. I didn't do very much last month. But a couple things. One is, so Smash is having a fundraiser to get a mural, but on the inside of their campus, because I was like, is this for the outside? Because OPA would want to know if we're gonna have something on that corner again, right? So they're starting with inside mural, like inside their campus. If it like goes well, working with Beautify Earth.
Yep.
And getting district approval. And then like, if that goes well, then they'll talk about the outside on that corner of Ocean Park and Lincoln, which we would be very interested in knowing about. So, and then that also, as a mural parent from former Muir Smash, I'm like, we're putting murals, are we staying? So I don't know, but going to reach out to Dr. Richardson. He was on earlier when the people for the construction company was here, and see, because our task force was planning to kind of host some meetings and we kind of just put it on pause till we heard what was presented today. But reaching out to the preschools in our neighborhood, and like I said, I've been frequently approaching parents at the park to see about hosting a Zoom and another meeting at the park, because meet them where they are and see if we can talk to them about like what they would like to see in their neighborhood school, because that is a community that our school district has not been able to capture. these are the people that are gonna actually send their kids to the school. So I'm gonna email Dr. Richardson and go, okay, is time up or should we move on this very quick? So that's kind of where that's at.
If you need an intro to someone at the growing place, let me know.
Yeah, because I was just gonna like go in.
I
and-
know, I know.
I know a lot of early childhood people.
Perfect. So, and then maybe some of our teenagers would like to like come to our meeting at the park and play with little kids while we hold boring adult meetings and get volunteer hours. So let's connect before you guys leave tonight, okay?
Thank you.
I am. Okay, perfect. So, thanks.
So what are your plans to get teenagers? Because I see you're involved, interested in new parents and little babies. But what about the in between? I feel like they're also important.
Listen, I'm a coach and I coach Gen Z and millennials and I totally believe in kid power. And believe me, I'm going to be in touch with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there anything like at Sandal High that we share about OPA?
The ASB probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a friend in the ASB, you know, the.
What does that stand for?
Associated Student Body.
Yeah.
It's student
like
government.
student government. I have a friend, we have a friend part of that. And yeah. Oh, yeah, she knows the president. So, you know, if you're interested, and a lot of like different things, like we have this thing called flex time where basically like it's like a time where like you can like go to different classes and study, but then sometimes there's like special ones where basically like different people and like companies and associations like come and like talk. So I feel like if you talk to like probably when I get like my advisor and like I can talk to my ASB friend, like that could probably be arranged. Maybe not this year because it's this school year is about to end, but maybe more like next year. That could probably happen. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you Laura or Bella? I'm Bella. This is
Nice to meet you guys.
we want just like
Awesome. I don't think there's any other task force updates. Judy?
I just have an update that is going to happen in June. June is Pride Month. And there's going to be a whole lot of Pride related stuff happening in Santa Monica. And it's in the newsletter, or it will be
I've queued up
again,
a bunch of stuff
again,
already.
right? And yes, and then I sort of hesitate to tell you all of this, but the Santa Monica History Museum is having a big deal exhibition about Santa Monica in the past. And part of what they're talking about in this exhibit is about the first lesbian mayor, first out lesbian mayor in Santa Monica, which is me.
Oh.
So they're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff. They're gonna have a panel that they are closed for a month while they're preparing the exhibits. I don't know what they're doing, but I will make sure you know everything. But I'm very excited about Pride Month this year because Pride Month had to kind of go away when we had the COVID pandemic, and now it's coming back bigger than ever.
Annenberg is going to have a reading by a drag queen.
Yes.
I think on the 17th of June.
Yes, there's so much stuff going on, but I just want us to all know that there are many, many things. And on the promenade on, I think it's the 3rd.
Yeah.
Is that right? The 3rd, it's going to be sort of the hub of the whole downtown area, doing like block party kind of
A big
They doing the
Pride
lights?
festival.
You doing the rainbow lights?
Yes, yes, there are going to be lights all over the place. Yeah.
That was really pretty.
Is there anything OPA should be talking about, playing a more active role in anything that anyone can think of right now?
yes.
Can we put her on the board?
I actually don't have time. I have 2 AP. So.
I understand.
Yeah. Wait, can I talk? Of course. Oh, okay. So, I was thinking when you guys were talking about lights, do you guys know about the Venice Light Parade? The bike light parade? Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, technically it's in Venice, but they pass by all of Santa Monica, so I feel like you guys could be involved in that, considering they go down Main Street.
Yeah.
My mom and I and my little brother tried to bike there. We biked there yesterday, and like we try to go on the parade every Sunday, and I feel like that's a way like a lot of Santa Monica and Venetians, I don't, yeah, like to connect and like form, that's a community, and I feel like the like OPA could use that already formed community to establish a bigger community of like people, because like most of the people in the parade are going to be locals and probably people who live here because it's on the beach. So people who live by the beach know about it. So that could even take a view. Cool. Yeah. Good idea. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Anything else we should be talking about with Pride Month? It's right around the corner, and I don't know what OPA could more formally do at this point.
I'm meeting with the head of the History Museum on Wednesday. I'll see if there's anything we can do.
Yeah, I've seen Chris.
Cool.
What about that cycling?
I was just going to say the other thing to keep in mind is I think June 10th,
Yeah.
Sunday, June 10th is the end of the age ride here in Ocean Park. They are still very actively looking for volunteers. If anyone here is interested in doing so, please reach out to them. If you don't know how to reach out to them, reach out to me, and I should probably reshare that in the newsletter as it gets closer.
Those are the people that we talked to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's June 10th. And it should be, I think they said they're expecting like 10,000 people. So it should be a big party. Cool. Any other special agenda or random things people have? Kathleen?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I went to the Tree of Life celebration and I felt so gratified and just emotional about how everybody in power in the city turned out to celebrate. Dave came, the mayor, obviously, the chief of police. It was just, and it was a big crowd, and you know, Jerry was like so overwhelmed, but it was really touching, you know, and that's what we need. So I just want to say that was a wonderful experience, and I took some video and pictures, and Will and our spread is going to help me put it into a format to give to Jerry, so he has it.
Awesome.
Yes.
Christina, you shared out the April minutes a
I
couple weeks
did,
ago.
and made corrections.
Anybody else have any other comments or questions about those minutes? Do I have a motion?
Is there a motion to
Motion to
approve?
approve, multiple seconds. We'll give that one to Jeff. All in favor? Any objections? Minutes pass. And unless there's anything else, I amazingly am not scrambling for time. We're 4 minutes early.
Yeah.
Oh God, I was so close.
Neighborhood council meeting is on the 20th. So if anybody has anything that stick up in front of that, maybe I talk to the expert about it.
Since we have 2 minutes, might as well. Just updating everyone, the neighborhood council, I think everyone knows about it, but it's representatives from each of the various 7 neighborhood councils, I think only 6 are there, meet once a month just to talk about collaborative issues, concerns, etc. OPA has come and gone out of this council over recent years. Chris has done a great job of trying to make us more part of the coming of it right now, as opposed to the going. He even somehow volunteered to spearhead the first quarter of meetings, and thank you for that.
Volunteer is a funny word.
So
It's painful.
yeah,
It's on Zoom. Yeah, and actually anybody from the board is welcome to join if they wanted to. The last 2 months, I've just been representing.
And it's second Saturday, third Saturday, 9 a.m.,
10
10 a.m.
to 12.
I'll be in Bryce.
So, cool. Unless there's anything else, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Motion by Jeff, second by Chris. Meeting adjourned, 2 minutes early.
Great meeting, John.
Thanks all for coming out. If anyone wants some salad for tomorrow, we have a little bit of extra.
Right.